My name is Carol Denton, and my daughter has cystic fibrosis.
I've had CF my whole life since I was born, and they figured it out when I was 5, and I'm about to turn 13 now. I've had 11 surgeries at Children's Hospital, and the most common surgery that we do is a embolization that, because I cough up blood sometimes because the blood vessels get inflamed, and they go in and they clot up whichever blood vessels are bleeding. One is a bronchoscopy, which they put a tube down my throat and they look in my lungs and rinse them out.
You've had your tonsils and adenoids removed?
Yes, I've had my tonsils and adenoids removed. And
sinus surgery?
I've had one of those. I'm in the 7th grade.
You're homebound.
I'm homebound, sorry. And a teacher comes here about twice a week and we do work. And my mom is my teacher too also.
Danielle goes to school when she feels like going to school, but other times she has a 504 plan where the absences do not count against her, and as long as they're to do with her cystic fibrosis. And she does all the same things that the kids in school do, but she just does them from home, and her teachers are very good to communicate with her. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease which is carried on the genes, and it's a recessive disease. So many people are carriers. In fact, 1 in 29 Caucasians are carriers of this disease. And when 2 people have a child together that are both carriers, there's a 25% chance they will have a child with cystic fibrosis. It causes the chemicals cannot move back and forth across the cell membranes correctly, and so mucus builds up in the cell membranes. And when it does, it causes more and more a sticky mucus to build up in the lungs and in the digestive system. Most people with cystic fibrosis are affected either more with the digestive problems or more with the respiratory problems. People that have cystic fibrosis have to do a strict regimen every day, no exceptions if they don't, to help keep them healthy. People with cystic fibrosis have to do treatments where they have a nebulizer, and we put liquid in here. We put albuterol and another type of medicine called Pulmozyme that thins the mucus in their lungs, and they have to do that inhale. That takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and then after they get all the medicine out of that, they have to put on this vest that is made to loosen the mucus in their lungs. And the vest looks a lot like a life jacket, and Danielle has to use this foam piece because she has a port that has a needle. It's a 3/4 inch needle like sticking into her chest, so that protects her from when she's shaking as to what it won't make the needle move. And so she puts the vest on, and then she puts these 2 hoses in there, and then this is just going to cause the we have it already on. We've been using it today, so it's still in the middle of a program. But it will start and it will inflate, and it can shake at different frequencies. So it can go really low to get some airways, and then you can turn it up really high to get to some of the smaller airways. But that shakes the mucus out. So she does that for 30 minutes twice a day. And then she's also on Homavise, which she's hooked up right now. And this is just fluids, but she's already done an hour and a half worth of antibiotics. And so she does 7.5 hours a day right now at home of different IVs. She is a very active child. She doesn't let anything bother her. Her cystic fibrosis, she's hooked up to an IV now. As she's, just in her normal everyday life, she just goes right along with it, takes her IV into restaurants. There's a syringe pump that she can put in her purse and take into restaurants and go shopping and things like that.
We do a bunch of fundraisers for CF. We do a wellness run at the WellCare Center, and all the proceeds of that go to Children's Hospital. To CF. And I've done paintings, and all the proceeds of that went to the CF Foundation. We went to this little conference, Children's Hospital, for the head of Walmart, because they raised a bunch of money for Children's Hospital. And I did a painting for the guy.
We've had fundraisers at school for cystic fibrosis
Yes,
where
sir.
there's been bake sales where a lot of money's been raised. The cheerleaders and stuff do things to raise cystic fibrosis awareness, like the run through signs for football games and stuff. Will have CF on it, or doing it for Danielle, or things like that to raise awareness at our school for cystic fibrosis. So,
Okay, one day there was a boy who his mom was talking on the phone or whatever, and he thought that she was saying 65 roses instead of cystic fibrosis. And so he called it 65 roses, so now that's like the thing for CF, 65 roses. I've done a painting of a vase of roses, and I love to paint. I've done,
painting for the doctors in the hospital.
yes, I've painted for the doctors, the nurses,
The housekeepers, everybody, like she sells her paintings sometimes in the hospital to people that work there.
I usually have a little business in the hospital when I go. I made a huge painting for the vice president of Walmart, and of the roses, 65 roses for cystic fibrosis.